ahead. You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump.
that's multimodal in a nutshell. What I'm going to be showing you some pretty cool demos today. I'm going to be focusing on 3 major products. I'm going to start off with Notebook LM. A lot of you have probably played around with Notebook LM. If you haven't, I'll show you some of the features in that solution. Then I'm going to be showing you within our AI Studio features some of the APIs that are available, especially if you're in the middle of your build. Some of the APIs Google provides from a Gemini perspective that you can leverage that are multimodal and bring up some pretty good use cases. And then finally, I'll actually end off on Vertex AI. And Vertex AI is kind of like the production ML ops, ML pipeline building solution that Google has produced. And this is leveraged by enterprises, startups, SMBs, and so on. All right. Before I jump into the demos and the use cases, I really quickly want to just touch on Google's history. I won't go into Google's search history a little bit. So Google has been in the AI space for a very long time. And a lot of the evolution that you're kind of seeing, a lot of the technology that's available right now that we're leveraging was actually built out by Google and Google's research teams. As an example, in 2015, Google invented and later open sourced TensorFlow. And a lot of you are probably even using TensorFlow as part of the hackathon right now. And it's arguably the foundation for modern machine learning today. We also open sourced in 2017 the transformer model. Jeffrey Hinton, I'm sure you guys heard of him. He was a professor here at U of T, very well known, godfather of AI. And he did that at U of T. And that transformer model, GPT, the T in GPT stands for transformer. And Google helped build that technology and later, obviously open sourced it. There's a lot of other stuff that Google's done. In 2018, we've raised $12 billion for AI research. About 3,000 Google AI researchers on staff have produced about 7,000 publications on AI just alone. And then even just last month, actually this is now coming up to like last year now. End of last year, we had Demis and John from Google DeepMind who actually won the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize in chemistry for their work in AlphaFold. And for those that don't know AlphaFold, it's essentially an AI system that helps predict protein structures. So, and these protein structures are now revolutionizing the pharmaceutical and the drug disease understanding industry. So, Google operates at a planet scale. So, all the technology that you're going to see here, as well as the ones we've developed, is under our kind of our responsible AI, and we take that very seriously. A lot of the technology we built and everything that we build is fair, safe, and protects privacy. And obviously, the motto of Google. So we're doing it for the good of the world. Awesome. So our latest models are the Gemini models. You probably heard some names before. Bard has become Gemini now. And the Gemini models are kind of the latest and greatest models that are available in the industry today. These are some of the models that are leveraged by the likes of some of the biggest brands in the world that are using this generative technology. The 2.0 models were just released in December, and there are a lot of multimodal capabilities with these 2.0 models, and that's what I'm going to show you a lot of demos. I won't go into this in detail, but essentially this is, we just have 3 major models. We have our Pro model, a Flash model, and we have a Light model. So as you're testing out your solution, I would highly encourage you to try out these models, see if it works for your specific use case, because these models are also some of the cheapest models in the industry. So they're cheaper than some of even, like if you're testing out some of the DeepSeek models, they're cheaper than some of those models as well and have higher performance rates. So something to kind of keep in mind. Great. So I'm going to start off with Notebook LM. Again, a show of hands, who has used Notebook LM? Okay, great. So a little, I would say fewer people than I thought, but this is good. You should be using Notebook LM. It's free. It's actually available. It was kind of pretty much built, the solution was built for students in a lot of use cases. And the best part of the solution is it's going to help you not just in this hackathon, but it'll actually help you in your day-to-day in your programs. So I'm going to actually show you the solution. And I'll at the end, I'm also going to share links for all the tools I'm kind of showing today. So you don't have to write them down right now. But essentially, Notebook LM is, and if you've used it, it's a model or a tool that actually leverages the information that you're kind of provided in terms of PDFs and documents or videos, and it's essentially you can chat with those documents right now. So Notebook LM was actually invented for the purpose of chatting with books and PDFs. And now it's so much more, right? There's multimodal capabilities in terms of it creating podcasts, and that's actually one of the main features that led it to win the innovation of last year by Time Magazine because of some of these podcasting capabilities and these multimodal capabilities, which I will actually be showing. And it's pretty straightforward. It's very easy to use. It's not technical at all. It's just a notebook. You're kind of uploading documents into this. And essentially, it's just, if you guys know what RAG is, retrieval augmented generation, it's just RAG in a box. So you upload a bunch of documents, and then you can just chat with them instantaneously. Great. I'm actually going to switch screens. I'm going to move over to the tool itself. So I'll be sending over the links, but it's notebooklm.google.com. You'll come to this page. You click Try Notebook. And I have a bunch of notebooks, but I'm going to create a brand new one. So we're going to create one together. So I'm going to create a new notebook. So you'll come to this page, and this is kind of the starting zone where it's asking you to upload a bunch of documents. This will be really good as you're kind of doing your hackathon in terms of think of use cases that you are building out for, right? That you might have some documentation or some notes that you've taken that you want to upload into the system and chat with. And think of these documentations, if you do have documentation that's like very long, or you're even trying to debug parts of your code, this is a good place to kind of even get started and use some hard grounding logic to be able to get that information. Because as you know, in these generative models, Gemini, ChatGPT, and so on, like these models, they do have hallucinations. So it might give you the wrong answer. The good thing with Notebook LM is it does hard grounding. So it's going to look at all your data, look at all the information that's available, and it's going to bring up the most relevant. So in this case, I'm going to actually hit Discover Sources from Web. So I can upload documents, I can upload videos, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to just give it a prompt, and I'm actually going to ask it to go and find me some links. So let me type this out. So I'm looking for documents that are focused in AI healthcare, right? So I know that's one of the categories that you guys are focused on. So it's essentially going onto the internet, finding potential sources for me to upload. So it's looking at AI intelligence in healthcare. It's looking at Wikipedia. It's find some publications. And it's done a pretty good job of getting a whole list, like imaging, College of Physicians. It's pulling from multiple different sources. So there's a bunch of good documentation. Looks pretty good to me, to be honest. But I'm just going to click on all of these links, and I'm going to import them. And again, these are websites. So it's indexing the website, and then it's pulling all the information right into your notebook. And you can see as it's loading up some of these documents are PDFs. Some of these documents are actual the web page itself. So it's pulling a combination of different documents. I can upload videos here as well. It can pull videos in the solution as well. It looks like there was a couple errors on the last couple documentation. That's fine. I'm actually going to remove those sources just so that we don't get any errors. Okay. And what this has done is now that it's pulled these sources, it's actually giving me, like, I have essentially a chatbot, an AI agent that I can just chat with. So the benefit of this solution is now, for all this information, I don't have to go read through this. I can just start asking it questions. And you can see it's starting to, it's given a quick summary. It's saying the provided text explores integrations of artificial intelligence in healthcare, pharmaceutical industry. It's focused on applications on drug discovery and development and so on, right? I'm going to quickly kick this off as well because this takes a couple minutes, but this is the audio overview that I'll show you in a second. But as part of this chatbot, I can actually start asking it questions. And it's also starting to bring up potential questions that I can ask it as suggestions. So as an example, if I'm kind of going through this, I can click on this one as an example, and this question is, what are the primary ethical considerations and patient perspectives surrounding the increases integration of artificial intelligence within medicine, right? Good question to ask. You're looking at the documentation, and it's actually pulling this information. So again, you can leverage this to point to specific documentation that you're trying to ask questions on. You can point it to specific, let's say there's very long YouTube tutorials and YouTube links. You can upload those and chat with them. And this has done a pretty good job of trying to give those explanations, right? So primarily ethical considerations, privacy, confidence and data security, bias and fairness, transparency and explainability, and so on, right? So it's done a pretty good job. And as part of this, what you're noticing is whenever you upload a document in Gemini or ChatGPT, you probably notice, and when you're chatting with it, it does something that it's trying to get information from the document, but a lot of times it goes and gets information from the internet or from its internal knowledge base, and there's a chance that it says something that isn't necessarily true, right? And it's because it's doing something called soft grounding on the data versus in here we have hard grounding. So it's not going on the internet and finding this information, it's looking at purely the sources that you've uploaded. So for every single line item that it's produced, it's actually telling me exactly where it is in my source material. So I can actually click here and it takes me to the passage where that was mentioned, right? And you can do that for every single piece, and it takes you to the passage where that sentence was extrapolated from. And again, yes, this is going to be useful for the hackathon, but then also think of it from your day-to-day school lives. You're uploading your textbooks, you can chat with them, you can upload your notes if you take aggressive notes. This is a perfect solution. Actually, funny enough, even my wife, she did U of T medicine, and she had like a whole list of notes and documentation from school, and she just still references that information today. And she uploaded, and she doesn't use any AI tools. She uploaded all her medicine documents into Notebook LM, and she uses it to reference back to make sure when she's dealing with patients that she's actually obviously doing the right stuff. So again, a quick and easy way to build these type of chatbots that you can interact with. I think the audio summary is done, so okay, quick. And then real quick, there's some other notes, automatic note takers, or note creation processes. You can write your own notes or add in your own notes, but you also have things like study guides that you can build, briefing documents, and if you click on these, it'll create the study guide for you. It'll create the briefing documents for you, so it's kind of looking at obviously all the sources that you provided. There you go, you got your study guide, all kind of available, and it does a pretty good job breaking things down, summarizing them for you, and explaining them for you. Again, great for research, exploration, especially when you're getting into something that you're building brand new, or even from a studying perspective. I'm going to quickly talk about the audio summary. So this is actually what helped win the Innovation of the Year. So it actually takes all my existing sources that I've uploaded, and it's actually created a podcast. And this podcast is called Deep Dive. And Deep Dive is two hosts that are talking about the information that you've uploaded, and they're going to try to explain it in the best way that they can. So I'm gonna quickly play, and this is again fully AI generated, and you saw me, I just kicked it off right now, so it was just generated right now. it's a 20-minute podcast. I'm not going to play it, right? But you get the now how the technology has evolved from just generating text, which is great, right, when you're chatting with these documents and interacting with them. But now it's come to the new age where you're getting to the different modalities, right? So you're putting in text and then you're getting audio out. And you can hear these solutions, they're very lifelike, right? It's not like a transcription where it's just like boring to listen to. This is like I use this actually almost every single day. I do a lot of a white paper and research paper reading just as part of my job. I have to be up to date on the latest AI tech. So I actually leverage this, every morning before I get to work. On the train ride, I upload a bunch of papers and I create a podcast and I listen to it on the way to work. When I get there, whichever topics were interesting, I will go and actually read those papers, right? So it's a quick and easy way to actually leverage this in your day-to-day, and then obviously for other use cases. One other thing I'll show you before we jump onto the next solution is we have an interactive mode now available. So when think of any podcast that you currently listen to, right? The biggest issue that you probably come across is as you're listening to the podcast, you're like, I wish I could just ask a question. I wish I could like call in like it's a radio host and then ask my question and get it answered. You can do that now with these models. So I have an interactive mode, so I can actually join in as a third host and ask it questions. So I'm going to quickly show you how that works as well.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be diving into something that honestly feels like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's becoming more real every day. Artificial intelligence in healthcare.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
Hey there. Want to share your thoughts on this?
Yes. Can you talk about how bias and fairness is brought up in AI in healthcare?
That's a really important point.
Absolutely. It's something we definitely need to unpack.
The Pew Research Center study actually touched on this.
Oh, yeah?
They found that among people who see racial and ethnic bias as a problem in healthcare, a pretty significant number, around 51%, thought AI could actually make things better.
Interesting. Why do they think that?
Well,
I'm going to stop it there. But essentially, you can see how quickly the model reacted from the question that I brought up, and it's starting to answer and specialize on that specific question. Once it feels it's done a good job in answering the question, it's going to continue with the podcast. Great. Awesome. So I've showed you Notebook LM. Please feel free to go use the solution. It's free. It's available to everyone. There is obviously paid versions of the solution that are just more focused on enterprise, but for students, it's completely available. So if you're not using it, just know your fellow students are. The next solution that I'm going to show you is AI Studio. AI Studio is kind of Google's environment to do a lot of testing with the latest models that we're releasing. So I'm actually going to just jump into the demo and show you some of the capabilities. If I switch over. Okay, great. So I'm going to start off with the top solution. So AI Studio, again, it's a kind of a playground for you to go and test out the models. So before you go and you start building out the application and you don't know if it's going to work or not, you need to start testing, right? You need to make sure that your use case that you're building out is actually going to work. So this is an environment set up for you to test out the model, see which model actually works for your specific use case, do comparisons between models, all that good stuff. And again, you have all your settings and parameters and hyperparameters available to you, so you can make all those adjustments. You have safety settings and so on, and then you have all your models here, right? So you have all the Gemini models that are out in the market, as well as we have some open source models also available. And then for each one of these models, if you're curious what's the difference between the models, just hover over the models and it gives you an explanation. Best for multimodal understanding, real-time streaming, right? Use cases, processing, 10,000 lines of code, so on, right? And then Flash, this is what it's best for. If there's any rate limits or latency, gives you a pretty good explanation between each one. And then if you want to test it, you can actually chat with these models, choose the model, chat with it, or also do a comparison. So you can, as an example, if I want to compare the Flash model to one of our reasoning models, and I want to ask it, so I'm asking it how to plant an apple tree. Each model is going to have its own way of kind of doing it. So, you know, the Flash model, it's coming up with the answer right away, versus the reasoning model takes its time. It does something called chain of thought, and it does reasoning, thinks through the plan, what it needs to do before it actually starts producing the answer. So again, you might not want to go with this because obviously there's a higher latency in terms of your response if you're especially building an application that actually needs the input and the answer right away. So again, if you're doing something that's more you want it to take its time and figure out the answer and be a little bit more specialized, you can obviously use this, the thinking model, and as an example, like I can kind of show you, these are its thoughts, right? This is what it thought through. So, you know, this is my thinking process to generate, understand the user's needs, break it down, brainstorm each stage, it does all of this before it actually starts generating the answer. But you can see also the latency between these two. This took 19 seconds to create, and this took 9 seconds, right? So about half the time. So again, you can test them out here. You can get the API keys right up here for all those models. I will show you one additional model. So back to the multimodality, right? I've been showing you some text generation, but let me show you some multimodal. So if you're doing any tests on images or video or audio, some of these models are specially tuned for that. So I will show you an example here. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. So I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to upload my headshot, and I'm going to ask it. So I'm asking it to change my blazer to a black leather jacket, right? And if you remember how bad the image models were previously, now you're able to see how much better of a job these models are doing, right? It's not going to create 10 fingers anymore and those issues that you probably saw previously. The models have come a long way. And as an example, even here, this is actually a much more difficult task. For me to generate an image is pretty easy, but I'm actually inputting an image and I'm asking it to edit the image, which actually requires a different type of training for the model to be able to do this. So this is a pretty difficult task, and it did a pretty good job. And I can even expand this further and ask it to. All right, I'm asking it to give me a full body shot. I spelled body wrong. And then it's going to, let's see what it does. There we go. It's extrapolated, and it's given my full arms and legs as well, at least what it thinks I look. So yeah, again, these models are available. You can try and test them. And again, like some of these multimodality capabilities are now available, and they're pretty, they do a pretty good job. Okay, the next one I want to kind of show you in AI Studio is our real-time streaming models. So this is some of the latest tech Google's released. This actually, the Multimodal Live API is one of the newer APIs we just released. And essentially how this model works is when you're chatting with these models, you're using text to give it, or you're sending it an image, you're sending it a video, and then it comes back with a response. But sometimes you just want to have these models interact with you similar to how you're interacting with the world. You want to give it, you know, these models, you want to give it you want to give it eyes, you want to give it ears, and you want to give it a mouth, right? You want it to interact with you how you interact with people. So these models can now do that. So I'm going to show you an example of where I'm actually going to give this model access to my screen, So it's going to be able to see my entire screen, and then I can ask it questions. So let's try this out. So hold on 1 second. I just want to make sure. So this functions are on. Okay. All right. So I'm actually going to share it a specific tab. Hey Gemini, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. How are you doing today? Is there anything I can help you with?
Yes. So this is a project that I did during my master's around reinforcement learning. I want you to help me figure out I have a couple questions around my code.
Okay, I see you shared a number of images of your code. It looks like a Python project related to reinforcement learning. You mentioned having a couple of questions about the code. Please go ahead and ask. I will do my best to help.
Yes. What does this snippet of code do?
Okay, I see the highlighted code snippet in the images. It appears to be processing movie conversation data. The code iterates through each conversation in raw underscore movie underscore conversations. For each conversation, it splits the string into individual utterances based on plus 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 dollar plus plus plus. Then it replaces several characters like A and it then asserts that there are at least two utterances in the conversation and goes through
Okay,
paragraphs.
that's good enough, Gemini. Thanks for that. I actually have another question. So when I'm looking at this model, can you tell me what this library is?
Okay, I see that you're now looking at the model.py file and are asking about a specific library. The code imports TensorFlow as TF and NumPy as NP. So the library you're asking about is likely TensorFlow, which is a popular open source library for numerical computation and large-scale machine learning. It's often used for tasks like building and training neural networks.
Okay, great. Actually, maybe one more question. Can you have a look at this code, and did you see any errors as I was kind of scrolling through? Gemini, are you still there?
I've reviewed the code and model, PY, that you've shared. While I don't see any obvious syntax errors, there are a few things that could potentially cause issues depending on how the rest of your code works. One thing I noticed is that you're using tf.get underscore variable underscore.
Sorry,
Okay.
you can continue. You can continue.
What your question is.
No, you can continue on that previous answer. Sorry, Gemini, I interrupted. You can continue with that previous answer. Okay, looks like I've lost Gemini. I think it's processing.
I understand.
Oh, there, you're back.
I was mentioning that while I didn't see any syntax errors, there were a few potential issues in the model.
Okay, I'm gonna stop now. But you can kind of see like you're now leveraging it to go through your code. Imagine this as a friendly developer that's helping you as you're programming to optimize your code, help you write functions, right? Help you bring in additional applications or technology, or if something you don't know how to do it, you can just ask it, and it'll actually help generate some of that information for you. So, like this is it's kind of showing you in my exact browser. I just shared it my whole screen. The other example I might show you as well is I can do the same thing on other devices. So I can do this on my phone. So I can actually give Gemini access to my camera. So similar, I just gave it access to my screen. I'm going to give it access to my camera, and I'm going to start ask it questions. So let's see how this works as well. Hey Gemini, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you tell me how many people are in this room right now?
I can count approximately 39 people in the room. Would you like me to count them again?
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's 39 people. There seems to be a couple more.
Okay, I will recount. After recounting, I see there are approximately 46 people in the room. Do you agree with that count?
Better. I think you're blending in some of the heads. Out of the people, how many of them are wearing glasses?
Okay, I can see approximately 13 people wearing glasses. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes. Actually, one last thing. I'm actually going to use you as an example. Gemini, can you look at this person's outfit and recommend one piece of maybe an accessory that they can add?
Okay, the person is wearing a white hoodie, blue jeans, and white sneakers. I recommend that they add a baseball cap to their outfit. Is there anything else you need help with?
No, that's everything. Thanks, Gemini. So,
Have a great day.
oh, sorry about that. So now you can see you can build applications with this technology, right? Like I showed you two aspects of multimodal where it's looking at my screen. I showed you an aspect of it's leveraging my phone, and then kind of looking into the real world. So again, I want you to really, as you're building out your applications, really think through, oh, I think I lost my screen. I want you to really think through some of these like cool applications. I know some of the prizes are for uses of Gemini, so think outside the box than your typical chatbots or RAG-based applications. I'm a judge, so I'm expecting a little bit more from this group. Okay, great. So I will, oh, sorry, just a couple other things before I move on. There's other stuff in here. There's an API playground, so you can actually test and build out some applications. It will host it in this environment, actually let you run it. So for example, if I'm gonna do like a React example, you can actually put in your React code, your TypeScript code here. You can put in your HTML code here and your CSS, and actually be able to interact with your code right in the solution. And the best part is you just call the specific functions. Actually, let me show you a better one. Let's do Map Explorer. So here, this is using the Gemini models to be able to find on, and again, we're pulling the Google Maps API, and it's leveraging the maps to be able to find in here the functions that I've set up, which is cold, ancient, metropolitan, green, and remote. So every time I click on this, it's going to take me to a cold location, and it's going to give some description on that location, right? So if I click cold again, it's going to take me to another location, and do that. I think it's not loading that one fully, but let's click on ancient for example. So it's taking me to an ancient location, and it's giving some description. And you can see, you can test out your applications here and kind of play with the solution. I also have some other stuff, like if you're doing fine tuning, you can test out some of the fine tuning examples here. We have a library of prompts as well. So if you're ever interested in terms of just seeing what the capabilities of the solution are without having to build application, you can come here and actually test out those solutions. So come here, feel free to, as an example, like I'm going to create an application that it writes out the code for me. This is for an app called Opsum Search, which is like a possum related type of search. So it's again, feel free to play around with these. There's a whole load of information here. So it helps with a lot of the testing capabilities. Great. Next, I'm going to jump to Vertex AI. Just making sure how we're good on time. Okay, great. So this is the last application that I'm going to show you. So I've shown you examples of research with Notebook LM. I've shown you examples of testing with AI Studio. And then the last example is you've done your research, you've done your test, now you're building out your application. So you actually want to build out the whole production workflow, or POC workflow, or pilot workflow. And this is where you come to Vertex. And Vertex is Google's kind of main offering in GCP for AI solutions. This is where even large enterprises and startups use Vertex to actually build out pipelines. Fun fact for the group, 90% of unicorns, and again, 90% of unicorn startups in North America are on Gemini and are using Vertex. So just kind of think about that. So you're thinking of all the other models. Successful startups have leveraged Vertex and Gemini to be able to build out those AI use cases. So something to kind of keep in mind, especially when you're going to build out these applications and you want to quickly spin up a virtual machine, you want to quickly do test cases and logging. All that's kind of available just out of the box. You don't have to write any of that stuff. So again, building out those ML pipelines, and the best part about Vertex AI is a lot of it's been templated out. So a lot of the tools are available for building out your applications. And also, if you don't want to use a Gemini model, you're trying to use another model, you can actually bring those models into Vertex as well. So we have a model garden that I'll show you, which has all the different models out there in the market, not just the Gemini models. Great, so I'm going to go to the my Vertex Studio. So, okay, great. So this is kind of the landing page for your Google Cloud Console. I'm going to go directly to Vertex AI. And again, this is the platform to build out the pipeline. So you'll have all the information that you ever need for any AI application will be here. You can click on tutorials if you're interested and play around how to build an application. You can do that literally in like 5 minutes. And then also we have, let's leave it there. We also have a bunch of tools similar to AI Studio, but now for production. So you can test out some of the production examples and then just click launch and then it becomes available. So I'll talk through what Vertex AI Studio, Model Garden, Colab Enterprises, but you know, if you want to prepare data like your traditional machine learning workflows, you can build all of that out here. So you can, you know, prep data here. You can, you know, select what type of exercise you're doing. If you're doing single label classification, multi-label classification, object detection, segmentation. We have regression testing. You have forecasting. You have, you know, text, additional classification, sentiment analysis, even things on video. So you can bring in your data sources here. You can then do all your model training here. So you can go, you can build out your custom models. You can do things, use our AutoML solution. You can do sec-to-sec, TFT, tied, and so on. So like all your entire workflow and your entire pipeline is here, and then you can obviously deploy and use. I won't go through everything, but building out these models are very easy to set up, host, manage, and do all that in Vertex. And something I forgot to mention in the start, because you guys are students, use your emails, either U of T or if you're coming from other universities, when you're logging up to sign up for GCP and sign up for Vertex. You will get, I forgot the exact number, but somewhere between $500 to $1,000 in credits as you're kind of setting up these environments. So and to play around with the tool. So you'll have a large chunk of credits if you want to try out some of the multimodality and some of the different applications. So you can pretty much get your application built here for free as part of this. Great. So one thing I do want to show you is, so like I was mentioning, you don't have to just use Gemini. We have Model Garden. And Model Garden is just kind of an environment for you to select other models. We have Anthropic's, Meta's models, like all the Llama models, Hugging Face models, Mistral, and so on, right? So we even have like DeepSeek here if you want. Here I have the R1 model. So you can go and leverage all the models, so you don't have to necessarily use Gemini, especially if you're thinking of niche use cases. The other place, obviously, that you can build out your pipelines. Here you have your Colab notebooks. This is if you're building out notebooks and testing out applications. Like if you're building out a RAG-based application, there's like free notebooks in here, step-by-step guides. And again, this is spinning up a machine for you to go and run these processes, so you're not running it just on your computer, especially if you don't have like the GPU compute or the management of the solution, right? So this is a good place to kind of get started to test out the environments and play around with the solution. So all your notebook capabilities are here within Colab and Workbench. Vertex AI Studio, a lot of the stuff I was kind of showing you on AI Studio is here as well. So you can do all this kind of similar capabilities of choosing a specific model. You can bring third-party models in here and then test out your specific use cases. You can do all the kind of real-time streaming examples that I was kind of showing you on AI Studio here as well. All the media elements. So if you're doing image generation, image editing, generating videos, generating music, and so on. Like you can do all that, all the AI generation capabilities are here and testing. I'm not going to go through all of them. The last couple areas, there's the data element, model deployments, and then model use. There's a whole slew of different applications in Vertex for you to go and build out your applications. Essentially, everything that you would need is available in here, and then you'll have your credits to be able to test out and actually deploy these use cases. One thing I will point out, make sure you shut down your application when you're done. Otherwise, you'll burn through your credits, and then you'll start charging you. There's a lot of free tier available, so a lot of the applications will just generally be free. But then if you start using some of the complex models, that's going to start, it's going to be expensive. So if after it burns through your credits, then it's going to start charging you. So make sure you shut down your machines after you're done testing and deploying. That's the only comment I'll make. The last thing I kind of want to show you before we shut off is in here we have, as part of Vertex, we have Agent Builder. There's a whole, I know some of you might be building AI agents. And again, what AI agents are is, think of your existing LLM RAG-based applications, but now you're infusing third-party and real-world examples to connect to existing systems and do a task, right? Like you're asking here to generate some information, great. Awesome, I got the information, now what? Now go and execute it in this workflow, or go and pull this information, or book a flight for me, or whatever the case is. You can do that in Agent Builder. And in Agent Builder, again, you just search up Agent Builder at the top. You can build all these different types of applications, search applications, media applications, conversational agents. I'll even kind of quickly show you one. So let's use a pre-built example. I'm going to, so these are examples. Let's go with like an airline support. And again, I can deploy this right now and start testing and adjusting this AI agent. But before I import this model as an example, I can try it out, right? So if you click try and Dialogflow, it'll use a pre-built UI, and you can actually test it out. So it's like, we're working on finding your location. This time might take a moment. Okay, it found my location. And it's like, where are you trying to go? So let's say I'm trying to go to Las Vegas. And this is actually, when would you, let's say today. Actually, no, let's do tomorrow. So this is pulling from a real-time Google Flights API and pulling this information. So it's found flights from Toronto to Vegas. And then I'll just, cheapest flight, looks good. And now it's booked my flight. Obviously, I have to give my credit card information and stuff, but essentially, like, this is an application that was kind of built, obviously leveraging AI, and you can kind of ask it information. So you can test out this, but you can also launch this application. So if you're interested in how this was built, you would just click Import Agent. I'm just going to set this up as a test. Create, and then it takes you to our Agent Builder solution, and then within Agent Builder, you can actually build out multi-agent systems. So that's part of your solution. This is something to maybe kind of look at. So here, it's built out this workbook, and you can kind of see it's written out all the instructions, the prompts. You're a flight assistant that only speaks English. Your goal is to provide customers a list of flights. You can see any API integrations. It's getting flights, getting geolocation. So this is a pretty basic application, but you can test out some of the other more complex applications as well as part of the solution. So play around with it, and then if you obviously have any questions, obviously reach out to me or some of the other support people on the Google side. I'm more than happy to kind of help out. Great. So I have the links here. You can take a You're using, essentially what it's doing is indexing all the data that's available in your data store, and then sometimes it even creates a knowledge graph to go through the information and produce the results. If you're using a specific tool, that's just like as an example, like Google Flights, like it's going and calling a specific API endpoint and then just getting the information. We have the open API endpoint available in Agent Builder. So again, like as long as it has an API endpoint, you can just point to it and get the information, and then the agent itself will have that context now to be able to answer the question.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Does anyone else have a question? Any other questions?
Anything about your projects that you're building right now?
Thank you for the sharing. Do you mind like showing a demo how to use Vertex AI for sentimental analysis?
Sure. So similar to what you saw here. So again, if you have any questions about Vertex, the documentation is actually pretty good. So if you're like, you just go to the search, and then if you type in sentiment, it should take me to, my internet's a little laggy. Sorry, I can't see from here. Okay, so did I spell it wrong again? Yeah, I probably did. Okay, let's just search it. Let's just see what comes up. Okay, there we go. So yeah, here we go. So we have the sentiment analysis documentation. It kind of tells you what you need. Here, this is like pretty easy. If you call this specific API, which API is this? The NLP API. So if you call this specific API, you have to just give it some information, and then it'll actually produce the magnitude and the score for you. So as long as, again, and the score is a -1 to 1 number, so you can actually just send over your text. It will process the text, send you back your score, and you can just do it through an endpoint. I'm not sure if we have a UI element to do sentiment analysis. I think we probably do. It should be maybe as part of in Vertex as well. So let me go back to Vertex. I think it's part of, yeah, we have it somewhere here. You probably have to just kind of dig through it. It's probably one of the extensions. Actually here, feature store, no. I'll have a look at it and find if, oh, there we go. Let's see, prompt management. Okay, there we go. So if you go to, yeah, prompt library, this is a good place. Here, if I want to, let me search up. There we go, sentiment analysis. And then here, there's actually a bot built for sentiment analysis out of the box. So yeah, it's been trained on this, so you can just send it over whatever. Like they're giving prompt examples, you can send scripts, text, all that stuff. Sorry, and I might have gone through that really quick. All I did was I went to prompt gallery, and the prompt gallery has a bunch of use cases already built out if you want to test them out. Everything is available through API. Again, like you can just call the API and whichever task you're doing. So that's available. Just hit the documentation. You can get the specific API that you need. But if you want to test it out, it sounds like that's what you want to do. In the prompt gallery, I looked up sentiment, and then it showed up here. And then this is sentiment analysis. But if there's anything else that's in here that you're interested in testing, like you can test them out here as well. And then I just clicked on that. Did that answer your question? Yeah, okay, great.
There's a question from the live stream. I put it in the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, the question is, how can you implement the Vertex AI RAG engine by uploading files into Google Cloud Storage? The vector store is going to be created from files in Google Cloud Storage. So yes. You got it exactly right, whoever asked that question. So you would upload it, and again, it would create a data store, right? The data store does the whole RAG-based application. So you would point your agent to that specific, or your model to that specific data store, and it will do the whole. You don't have to go build out like a search element and all the aspects of the RAG. You would just point your LLM to the data store, the data store, and it'll actually do all that work for you. And if you're interested on how to do that, so if you go to, I think we have it here. If you go to, not code examples. Let me exit this. Code samples. Okay, yeah, there we go. If you go to code samples, there is a workbook that is retrieval augmented generation. So open this notebook, and then this will open up a Colab notebook for you, and you can actually see, how to set this up from a code perspective. If you want to do it in the UI, you would just create your data store and then point your model to it, and it would pretty much work. Hopefully that answered the question online. I can check. Yeah.
All right, I guess we're good for now.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.